Okay, I think we're about to be ready. Here we go. Okay, I'm only 1 minute late. I'm not going to complain about that. 1 minute in a lifetime. Hey, everybody. Do-do-ba-do-do. Check one, check one, check one, check one. I guess I'm sounding okay. Okay, fantastic. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Meyers, and it's time for the Monday edition. It is Monday, right? Yeah. The Monday edition of the COVID Ask Mike Anything YouTube live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our Comptia studies, concentrating on IT fundamentals, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, although we can certainly go outside of that on an as-needed basis. So welcome aboard. Rule number one here is that this is called Ask Mike Anything. So the goal here is that you ask me questions and then I answer them. Now I understand, first of all, how do I ask questions? You ask questions by just typing them right here into the chat window. Let me bring my chat window up. I'm going to pop it out so I can see it. So I'm always looking on live chat. I don't look on the top chat. Switch over to live chat. I can see everybody. Fantastic. All right. Tolowit, Andre, Alan Duggan. Andre. Ulysses, there he is. Hey, man. My brother Dave Rush. I'm just seeing who's on real quick. Nada's here. Okay. Could we be the first to peek into the new Security Plus book? Not much to peek at, but I guess we could if you actually really wanted to, Nada. If I talk you into something like that. Okay, let's go ahead and just get things started here. How is the security work going? Oh, Elaine's here. Hey, Elaine, yay. Sean McLaughlin's here. Fantastic, fantastic. No, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. What? Oh, yeah. Scott Jernigan was worried that I was actually going to post the book up. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will talk about it and tell you that we have basically submitted all of the chapters, and it's just up to McGraw-Hill to print it now. So, pretty excited. I think Scott and I did a really, really good job with the Security Plus book. It came out a little slow, but then all books have come out slow. COVID, you thought, would have sped books up, but in anything, it's slowed everything down. But it's out, and it's a good book. I'm very, very happy with the results of it. And I'm glad we took a little extra time to get it out the door, because it made it that much better. So, ta-da, there we go. Anyway, a couple of things. I don't see anybody new, but just in case there is any new folks in here, a couple of rules. Rule number one, we start here at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time here in Houston, Texas, and we run till 4 o'clock or until the questions run out. So we will run up to 2 hours or until people are done asking questions. So do be aware that we need your guys' input so that we can do stuff. Anyway, also, you might be the type of person who's a little bit shy, and if you're shy, it's no big deal. Just send me an email to michaelm@totalsem.com. I would say send me an email, so send an email to michaelm@totalsem.com, and that way I can, if you have a more broad question or you're a little on the shy side, and then I'll address them later. John Check. Hi, Mike, I am new. Hey, John, check. Gruber Accountancy's here again. I'm happy. E. White's here. Whoa, why are all the cool kids showing up all of a sudden? All right, it's good to see you guys. I do need to warn you is that, unfortunately, I've always had my Senor Pepe Steam account on there, but I have now pegged all. I can have up to 300 friends on Steam, and I can't have any more. So I'm going to go through, and I actually started this today, deleting out, this person hasn't logged in 1,200 days. So I'm cutting those out, so we should have a little bit of space left. The other thing is I'm just not gaming. Well, you'd have thought with COVID I'd be a game freak. I actually did light up World of Warcraft yesterday. I've been playing that game for 16 years on and off. Good Lord. Yeah. But Polytropia on my phone seems to be the major fun game these days, more than anything else. All right, so anyway, that's the thing. You need to ask me questions, and then I will answer them for you. We have some fun prizes today. Also, hold on, I don't want to lie here. All right, so today's offer, you guys ready? So this is 50% off Comptia Total Tester and any combo that contains a Comptia Total Tester product. Got that? So it's 50% off Comptia Total Tester and any combo that contains a Comptia Total Tester product. So these are our practice questions that we here at Total Seminars sell because, well, we like to make money. And in order to take advantage of this, just go to www.totalsem.com. Head over to our merchant area, pick up practice questions or the bundles. Now, be careful. When we say bundles, folks, we're talking about performance-based questions versus multiple choice questions. And in our universe, Total Seminar sells those as two separate products. So if you want to get the bundle, it's 50% off. And what an absolutely amazing deal. Take advantage of that. And then the code for today to get this deal is MARS, M-A-R-S, 2021. All right. Sounds like a great deal. I got to tell you, honestly, the practice questions that we sell at Total Seminars are, in my opinion, by far the cheapest of the quality questions out there. And now we're just offering them for 50% off of that. And if we play our cards right, we might have some competitions today, and we'll see if we can give away some free ones on top of that. So everybody's like, well, I'm not going to try. 50% is a great deal, but Mike might try to have a contest, so I'm going to hang tough. Nothing wrong with that. All right. V, hello. V-E-E, hello, V. Studying for Security Plus in March. It is March. There you go. Well done. Keisha Green again. Good to see you, Keisha. She's back. Andres Bednards from Poland. PL, I'm assuming it's Poland. Welcome. Good to have you aboard. Vasilenita. Hey, Mike, looking good as always. Feeling good as always. Gruber Accountancy is asking questions. Gruber, I see you're asking questions. I'm going to hang on and just make sure I'm not missing anybody. Looks like I already got some good starts on here. Syed Hussein. Hello, Mike. Has Comptia Security Plus modules been updated? Which Comptia security study material is best? Thank you. Okay. So, Syed, let's talk about a few things. Number one, Comptia will always overlap an old exam with a new exam. So when the new Security Plus exam came out last month, well, I guess a little over a month ago now, they then said that the old Security Plus is going to be good through July of 2021. So Syed, you have a choice. You can take either the old exam, the SY0501, or you can take the brand new exam, SY0601, which Mike Meyers is just getting training materials out for, which ought to be a clue right there. Number one, always take the oldest exam possible. Nobody is ever going to quiz you in a technical interview and go, oh, did you take the 501 or the 601? They want to know with the time you took it, you took Security Plus. They're not going to ask 501 or 601. No one's ever going to ask that question. They're going to say, you got the, hold on. It just wants to know which exam you take. Always take the old exam. When I hear people start saying things like, when's the updates? When's the updates? I'm like, well, do you think like there's some, well, I got to be careful here because there is a 3-year time frame on these things. But in the world of IT, Syed, you are getting certifications all the time. This will never end. As long as you're in IT in one form or another, you will always get certifications. So you don't care if your Security Plus gets old after a few years. Now, if all you do is some like really low-end security stuff, then yeah, I guess you would want to just only do that. You see that with like A+ instructors or networking instructors where they keep retaking the same certifications over and over again. But in general, you don't do that. You're moving on. You're going to be moving on to Cisco. You're going to be moving on to Certified Wireless Professional. You're going to move on to AWS. You're going to be moving on, okay? The 501 exam's been out for 3 years. We have a good idea of what is on that exam, okay? Now, you're never going to see, I don't copy questions, so don't even bother thinking about that in terms of Total Seminars. But we work hard to track our videos, our books, and our practice questions to as close to the experience of the actual Comptia exam as we can, and still feeling good about it, of course. And no one's going to ever care whether you take the 501 or 601. 601's barely out. take the 501. Take the 501. This is true for any IT certification. If there's an overlap, take the older exam. It just cracks me up. People are like, when's the new one come out? Well, you know, bud, why? Why do you want the new one so bad? Somebody explain that to me in plain English. All right. V, is there an ETA on Netplus simulations? V, we are literally writing those as fast as we can as we speak. I've been writing questions all day today, and after we're done here, V, I'm going to write more questions. So just get an idea. So that was V asking it around 2:10. There you go. Scott Jernigan's answering for you. We got about a couple more months. Mr. G, I'm Mr. G. Also, oh, there was a, he has an also in here. That means there was a previous. I'm missing things. Hello, Mike. Has Comptia Security Plus modules been updated? Yes. If you're talking about the difference between 501 and 601, not only, I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean by a module? Are you talking about the objectives? Are you talking about the modules in my Security Plus book that I write with Scott Jernigan? Every module's changed. That's being the case. But again, one more time, Syed, always take the older exam. Nobody cares which exam what you've taken. I don't care if you're in Microsoft or Amazon or Cisco. Nobody cares which exam you take. They just want to know when you took the Security Plus. Man, I need to like pre-record a rant on that. Ulysses Farrar, Mike, any good entry-level IT jobs in the Houston area? Tons of them. There's tons of jobs here in Houston. It's ridiculous. Ulysses, head down to the Galleria and head over to the Samsung store and go get an application there. Easy job. They start you at like, I think it's $17 an hour. You know, you got to wait a few months before you get the health plan. But yeah, Samsung in the Galleria. Don't tell them Mike Meyers sent you. Or, you know, just show up and grab an application. They're hiring like crazy. They require your ability to speak and to have bilateral symmetry. That's just one I got off the top of my head. There's hundreds more than that. Literally, Houston, Texas is the greatest place to work on earth. Trust me, Houston's not that pretty of a town. You know, there's a reason people come to Texas, and most of us are here because work is plentiful and easy to come by. Which Comptia security study material is the best? Mine is, of course, and worth waiting a little bit longer before it all comes out. Or just use the 501 now. Alec Torres, currently on Chapter 20 of All-in-One, 10th edition. Well done, Alec. Mr. G, okay, here's the first part of Mr. G, 209. Now, guys, keep in mind, when I'm writing, I write down the time that people have posted a question. Mainly that's to help Scott Jernigan and Dave Rush, who are helping me out here. It allows them to keep track. And also do keep in mind, everybody's chat is different, okay? So if you post a question and I miss it, don't get mad, just post it again. It's easy, all right? And we will get there, we'll get to everybody's questions. It's literally what we're here for. Ping and trace route are completely what is this? Sorry. Here we go. This is Scott feeding me a question. Ping and trace route are completely failing to reach E-Trade domain. Okay, I'll assume that E-Trade doesn't really mean much of anything. Okay, Gruber Accountancy, 205. First question. All right, Gruber Accountancy, here's what we're going to do, because I know you started on this one. Gruber, we can't easily go through technical repair scenarios in this channel, okay? I am glad to help you. Don't worry about that. Number one, we have a Discord channel. Okay, I don't have a Discord channel. It's my buddy Jose Braden. I don't own it. I don't control it. I can't say what's being said on it or not being said. I'm not an administrator. I'm not a moderator. How much frickin' Jesus, caveats. It's remember a universe where you didn't have to start every conversation with, well, given, just insanity. Whatever. Shut up, Mike. The bottom line, Gruber, it's very, very difficult for me to help with technical questions like this. Really, the main goal of Ask Mike Anything is more like questions because we want to study for Comptia A+, Netplus, Security Plus. However, I am glad to help as long as we're understanding that Gruber, I must ask you many questions live in order to help you any further. That means you must get on the Discord channel with a microphone and with an earpiece so that we can speak to each other. If you have a camera so that I can actually see the screens we're talking about, that would be even better. Because like the first thing I'm going to tell you is Ping and Traceroute are completely failing to reach eTrade domain. Why do you say that? Did you type in ping www.etrade.com and then it failed? Do you know what the actual straight IP address is for this eTrade domain word that you're using? And I know that you know these answers, Gruber, but the problem is that in this venue, it's very, very hard because I'll ask you a question and then 20 minutes later, I'll see where you've typed the answer into the live chat, and by then I don't even remember what the question is. Gruber, number one, here is my email information. Gruber, you can send me an email. If you don't want to talk on Discord, that's fine. We'll come up with a way where you and I can speak privately. I will get you started and we'll go that way. Otherwise, the other nice part about doing it on Discord is we got lots of folks on there. Dave Rush, Scott Jernigan, Andre, Tolowit, I'm not even remembering all the names, Zach. You're going to have a bunch of people on there who are also good technicians who can help you. So you're not stuck waiting for the great Mike Meyers to come down and help you. Help is all over the place. But that's what we're going to have to do. So Gruber, I'm going to have to drop that question. You're either going to send me an email and we'll come up with a methodology for you to talk one-on-one. And then number two, just drop in on the Discord channel. Scott Jernigan will put the Discord information on there. Scott Jernigan's yelling at me saying I'm a little angry. I'm always a little angry. I'm like the Hulk. But we'll get you fixed up. Now the other thing I do need to warn you about, when it comes to technical repairs, I'm not your repairman. I'm an instructor, and as an instructor, I'm not necessarily going to tell you how to fix everything. I want to use your problems as a learning experience for me to then help you get to the answer. But I'm going to warn you right now, if you think I'm going to just spoon feed you the answers to stuff, ain't going to happen. You're going to have a lot better luck with the folks on the Discord channel than anybody else. But I do want to help. I really do want to help. I just want to be careful about how I'm helping. Okay, Mr. G, finally at 2:09. What time is it now? Oh, it's 2:19. I'm not that far behind. Hey, Mr. G. Hi, Mike. Taking my 1001 next week. Getting average 90% on total 7 practice questions. Still getting confused, tricked by some of them all. Wish me luck. Good luck. Mr. G, number one, if you think the most important thing on any certification is D for diploma. You scare me. You're getting at 90% and you have questions that are bothering you. If you're at 90%, you have no worries at all. You will pass the A+. So take a chill pill, number one. Number two, when you are somebody who says you're getting 90% on my practice questions, Mr. G, I'm worried about you. I'm scared that you have memorized my questions and not actually learned them. Mr. G, it is critical for you to go through those questions, and I need you to rewrite some of the questions. Either rewrite them on a piece of paper, have like a Word document. You need to have your best proof at this point that you're good is that you can look at any question and rewrite it. If you think that you can go to the actual Comptia exam and sit down and all of my questions are going to be there, they're not. I don't copy any Comptia questions. I copy their topics, I copy look and feel, but you will not find actual Comptia test questions on my practice questions. Comptia would lock me up and throw away the key. So if you're getting 90%, either A, you know your stuff and you're getting paranoid, stop. Or B, you've simply memorized all my questions, and when you get to take the real exam, because a lot of my questions are close to the real questions, and you're going to look at some question, you're going to go, oh, the answer's B. I remember this question. The answer's B as in boy. No, it's not, because I didn't copy the question. Read the questions. read them carefully, and really do yourself a favor, Mr. G, and take a couple of questions and just change them, right? And make new questions. Shoot, Mr. G, if you really want to get onto this, call me up. Well, here, Mr. G, send me an email. Send me an email. Mr. G, I may have an offer for you if you really are getting 90%. But Mr. G, the bottom line is you're going to do fine. 209, Haweed. Hello from Virginia. Hello, hello. V, is there an EA? Okay, we're backtracking here a little bit. And also, is A+ exam course up to renew this year? No. They haven't said anything. And if they haven't said it by March of 2021, I doubt it'll be in 2021. All right, guys, I'm just looking for questions. Bear with me a minute. Nigel, life is just a pain. Yes, it is. Geraldine Funes, does Security Plus have similar questions or overlap parts of Network Plus? No, no, not. Maybe a tiny little bit. What's more important about Security Plus is Security Plus assumes that you basically know all there is on Network Plus. It's going to start asking questions about DHCP servers and, IPv6 router advertisements and things like that, which are not objectives on Security Plus. They're not. But you need to know them. So this is a big thing. I get more people than I like who come in and go, I want to get into IT security, so I'm going to start with Security Plus. It's like, I know some people do it. They do it. I don't know what their success rate for getting jobs is and stuff like that. We do have a video we did about 6 months ago with my buddy Jessica Dickerson on entry-level jobs for IT security, which is right here in the Total Seminars channel. You're welcome to watch that. But people, in my opinion, people should have the Network Plus or the equivalent knowledge before they take Security Plus. That's my call. Nigel, I will be purchasing a voucher from Total Sems, thanks. We give a little bit of a discount, it's not bad. The only bad thing about it is we can't get refunds if something pops up. This is true, Nigel, and yeah, that's a true statement. And I can't even afford the exam, so there's no rush. Nigel? Nigel, are we working? Do we have a job? Nigel, surely, I think you and I remember had a conversation, or it was a different Nigel. So one of the things that will drive me crazy about people is they're going to think that I'm going to get, XYZ certification and then I'm going to get a job. That's wrong. It doesn't work that way. The IT world is full of entry-level jobs. And yes, I know a lot of those entry-level jobs say things like 3 years of experience and stuff like that, but they're just trying to, part of what I want in someone who's an entry-level person, I want them to be proactive and aggressive and fearless. And it is not at all uncommon to write out a big thing for an entry-level position and then put in there 3 years experience. I put that in there for an entry-level job because I don't want the wussy, scared people to even try to apply. You ever think about that? Be aggressive. If someone says entry-level, there's plenty of them out there. Plenty. So the bottom line is, do not think that you're going to get X number of certifications and then get a job. Now keep in mind, Nigel, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know. I'm speculating, so I apologize if I'm off base here. Caveat, caveat. But it's important. Everybody can get a job in IT, assuming that you can speak, that you're, everybody has their things, right? But there's There's lots of work out there. It's just a matter of grabbing it. Silas is back. 213. I think the reason that people ask about taking the new exam is because we haven't worked in IT before, and we don't know whether or not people. Yeah, no, Silas, I understand that, and that's perfect. That's an absolutely perfect understanding, and that's why it's my job here to try to set you all straight. But no, Silas, it's okay. Look, I've been teaching entry level for 25 years here, and sometimes I swear I could completely replace myself with about 10 pre-made answers. Okay, maybe not quite that bad, but it's up there. Okay, Ulysses, any good entry-level IT jobs? I just gave you one, dude. Waterfall Guy 59, what is your recommendation for cloud certification? That's real easy. If you're going to go into Amazon, which you probably will, go for your first few AWS certs. Otherwise, you might want to look at Microsoft. They have some certs. And also, Vmware. Now, Vmware is more of a virtualization than a cloud-based tool, but Vmware is the virtualization tool that so many different organizations use that it has an attraction. If you understand VMware virtualization, wow, do you understand VMware is very, very powerful tool set. So I'd consider even taking a look at some of the VMware as well. Look at all these helpful people. Geraldine was asking about taking the Security Plus without Netplus, and I missed it. I should borrow some money from Mike. He would hate my interest rates. Borrowing money from me is like borrowing money from criminals. I'm knocking on your door every day. Have to talk about the VIG. Elaine Batzer, we finished our freshman exploratory, which is more or less recruitment to our programs. I got 22 freshmen. Way to go, Elaine. You're going to take good care of them. I know you will. And guys, Elaine is still going to be coming down to Houston. Elaine, I'm holding you to that. We tried to get you down here a few months ago, and the COVID big spike went up, and Elaine's like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I'm like, Elaine, I don't know if this is a good idea. But COVID is dropping. Everybody I know's got vaccines now, just about. I've had one shot. I got to get one more shot here in a few weeks. So Elaine, I know you said this summer. It might be earlier than that if you're available, of course. I know you have your own big, busy program. But I'm looking forward to having you here. Alec Carter at 2:15. Hey, Mike, I'm taking the A+ Core 1 this weekend. Any last minute advice? Yeah, Alec, relax. Relax. The number one reason people fail Comptia A+ exams is test anxiety. That's the number one reason. The other thing you got to remember, and here's another video. Scott, we should pre-make these. When you're taking an A+ exam, first thing you have to do is go through this god-awful NDA. All right, so you just read through it. Then the test starts. And once the test starts, the first thing they're going to give you are performance-based questions. Pretty much all performance-based questions are at the very beginning of all Comptia exams. So you're going to get anywhere, depending on, so you're taking the 1001, so you're probably going to get 4 to 6 performance-based questions, all right? Just do them. Just do the best you can on your performance-based questions. Just remember that the problem with performance-based questions is that we don't know how they're scored. Comptia won't tell us. And you don't want to spend too much time on them. You only have 90 minutes per exam, so make sure you're not spending more than 15 minutes tops on your performance-based questions, or just mark them and skip them unless they're obvious, skip them and get all your multiple choice questions done. I have seen people who did very, very poorly on performance-based, but very, very well on the multiple choice part of the exam, pass the Comptia A+. So I think that says a lot right there. Doesn't say don't ignore them. In fact, in my opinion, some of the easiest questions on the A+ exam are the performance-based questions. The problem with the performance-based questions, you got to stare at them for a minute. You got to go, okay, what are these people talking about? Because at first you're going to be very confused. Everybody is. That's normal. Okay? The other thing you got to remember is that if you read the NDA at the beginning of the exam, Comptia says in very plain English, we have the right to insert any questions we want anytime. This includes what they call beta questions. Beta questions are ungraded questions that Comptia, in my opinion, very cruelly tends to put right after the performance-based questions. So you've just gone through these performance-based questions. Maybe you did good, maybe you don't know. Now the next thing all of a sudden, you're going to get 2, 3, 5 questions. And you're like, I don't even know what they're talking about. You'll look at these questions and you're going to be like, Mike Meyers is the worst instructor ever. I hate him. They didn't talk about any of these topics. I don't know what's going on. And now you've got test anxiety, and that's a problem. Comptia puts in beta questions, especially when tests start getting towards the end of their lives, like Netplus and A+. Comptia starts putting in these beta questions. They are not graded. If you run into a question, particularly at the beginning of an exam, and you're completely lost, so is everybody else. Don't panic. You go ahead and make your best guess, try to answer the question, but I can almost guarantee you that those are ungraded questions, and they're only there, in my opinion, to freak out people who are new at certifications, and it's okay. So I guess the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is, maybe you want to get a few, you might want to do a few more practice questions, but other than that, just relax, especially like the day of, or sometimes even the night of. Like, let's say you're taking it on Saturday. You said, like, so say Saturday at 10 a.m. I'll study on Friday, but around 5 o'clock on Friday, I stop. Get a good night's sleep. For me, a little bit of an adult beverage helps. Don't go too crazy. Get a little exercise in maybe or something. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're feeling fresh, get a decent breakfast in you, and go take the test. And that's the biggest thing people can do. I've never been the type who could sit here and study until the last possible second. So I recommend against that. I've got some other buddies who are like, well, I've learned an entire semester of geometry in one night, but it's not my style. So that would be the big thing I'd say. More than anything else, Alec, is be mellow. There you go. My buddy Andre even said that. So Gruber, I'm assuming you got the Discord link. Scott Jernigan literally posted it about the time you asked for it. Look at that. See here, Gruber, here's Jimmy Milligan giving you great answers. Always turning off firewalls is always a good idea for pings. Yep. The Grinch. Scott Jernigan sending me messages. Stop being so crabby. I don't feel crabby. I'm just old. Get off my lawn. Toland's got that nailed. 2:19 p.m. Sabotage, FPS, first-person shooter. I'm assuming. I just took your Comptia course at Western Governors. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm told by others in the industry that even though there's a lot of information on the course, the exam is not as intense. Is it true? Because I'm stressed. Okay. So Sabotage, first thing I'm going to tell you is the Comptia exams are pretty easy for a tech, There's not a lot of depth, in my opinion, in any Comptia certification. Maybe start to get past Security Plus. So it is. There's a lot to learn. It's wide, but it's not very deep. So yeah, there can be some challenges to it. The other thing I want to remind you, Sabotage, is that D for diploma. I guarantee you that when you take this test, there's going to be, 1, 2, 5 questions that are going to stump you. They'd stump me too. Yeah, I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So the most important thing I can tell you, Sabotage, more than anything else, is that when you run into these kind of questions, be cool. D for diploma. Nobody cares what your score is. Nobody cares. Either you got the cert or you don't. That's all people care about. That's all anybody you hire care about. That's it, okay? The number one reason people fail Comptia exams is they freak out. Look, this is not an SAT. This is not at A levels or O levels or whatever y'all call it over there. If you fail, you retake it. Yes, I know it's inconvenient to retake it. I know that it costs money to retake it, but you just retake it. That's it. I personally fail about 1/3 of all the certification exams I've ever taken. For different reasons. I don't know. Sometimes you fail an exam. It's just not a big deal. You just retake it. The number one reason people fail Comptia certifications is test anxiety. The number two reason people fail Comptia examinations is that they know too much. Most of the time, if you look at a question, think if you see hoof prints, think horses, not zebras, right? Keep the question simple and you'll be fine. That's the number two reason people fail Comptia exams. Isn't that crazy? The number three reason people fail Comptia exams is because they don't know enough. Wild, huh? So just be mellow. Be mellow, mellow. That's the most important thing. Sabotage FPS. Where can I find your practice questions? Oh. Sabotage. You can find my practice questions at www.totalsem.com. Sabotage. It is very, very important to me. It is Monday. You're going to be taking the exam on Saturday, the test. Please get a copy of my practice questions, please. You can pick them up at www.totalsem.com, and we got everything. It's 50% off. So, man, Sabotage, this is the time to take advantage of that. This is crazy. As a matter of fact, in honor of my friend Sabotage, we will have some competitions today for free practice questions. I'm going to write that down to make sure I don't forget. So, what time is it now? It's only 2:40. We got plenty of time. We're going to do at least free. We're going to be doing at least 3 competitions today. And I'll be giving away either A+, Netplus, or Security Plus practice questions. Well, there's like only about 60 people in here, so your odds are pretty good. All right. But that's what you need to do. Sabotage, especially if you're taking them on Saturday. Frankie says relax. Hold on. So what happens, guys, is your questions are scrolling on my chat window, but my chat window doesn't really scroll. It just sits there, and then all of a sudden it goes, brrr, and then I'm like, where was I? I'm lost. Pain in the bum from Nigel, so I know we've already covered that one. Nobody's borrowing money from me, the Grinch. Yeah, I get crabby sometimes, it's true. Gruber Accountancy, do you recommend a nice GUI for Linux? Yes, it's called Unity, and it comes with Ubuntu. I mean, I've used KDE as well, and what's the one I'm forgetting? Starts with a G, which I've used recently also. I like the, it's not the Unity engine anymore, is it, Scott? I forgot. Somebody help me out. Did Ubuntu dump the Unity engine? I'm thinking they did. Chuck DHD. Seems like Netplus is required for Security Plus. To me, it would be like trying to drive a car with 4 flat tires. Yes, Chuck DHD, the knowledge is important. It is important. You know, yeah, they did dump Unity. Thank you, Scott. I had forgotten that. So what, here, let me look it up. What is the current engine that comes with Ubuntu? Oh, that's right. Ubuntu went just back to GNOME. It starts with a G. There you go. Yeah, so every time I use Ubuntu, I've been using GNOME. Good thing I'm cute, huh? David Rush. Is Spewy around? Don't see any Spewy. Yeah, I miss Jack and Margot. I do. They were great cats. But they had to go back to their mama, so I was glad to be able to help out while I could. Tolowit, are there any additional commandments you would add to your Mike's currently 10 commandments? Have you considered remaking the video? Damn, Tolowit, that's actually a good idea. It probably needs to be remade just because, you know, I'm 10 years older. But just as pretty as I was, come on, come on. No, I wouldn't add anything to it at all. Keep in mind that Mike's 10 Commandments is really how to be a tech. It's like tech soft skills. It's not so much, you know, I wouldn't consider anything changeable. Hey, but I'll tell you what, Tolowit, if you watch it and you consider something that doesn't work, I'm always open to consideration. Da-da-da-da. Produce Boy, BOI 12 at 2:27 p.m. I just started reading your book. Just started chapter 1. Hey, congratulations. Produce Boy, the reason we're here Monday and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, we're here to answer questions. You know, a lot of us still can't get back to school and things like that. So I am here to help you out. The goal of this live stream is you to ask me questions and I answer them. So congratulations, you've done a great start. And please keep coming around. Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. My buddy Dave Rush has his drama on Fridays here at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, Houston, Texas time. And Dave concentrates on the Raspberry Pi. Now, the reason Dave Rush does a Raspberry Pi isn't so much to teach you about a Raspberry Pi, which is a very cool device in and of itself, but more importantly, Dave has lots of amazing videos that allow you to use a Raspberry Pi as a very inexpensive way to learn about A+, Netplus, and Security Plus topics. Why go buy an $800, $900 system when for 50 bucks you can have a Raspberry Pi, 50 bucks or less, you can have a Raspberry Pi that will do the same thing. Yes, Scott, GNOME, I just went blank in my head again. So yeah. Welcome aboard, Produce Boy 12. Tolowit, Best Buy just laid off 9,000 workers. I didn't hear about that, but Tolowit, I know lots of people who are hiring. I didn't hear about that. That would be unfortunate. Andre DeGoya, VMware Plus 220. No VMware. I don't. The VMware testing is really challenging, the actual testing process. So I don't think you're going to see Total Seminars doing that anytime soon. I can tell you that I have a great interest in AWS. Here at Total Seminars, we've already started some AWS, and we'll probably build on that and bring in some really great folks. I can do a hello world in the universe of AWS. I can, do some pretty, I can spin up a web server and a few things like that. But, some of the data storage things where I don't have the same level of skill set. So we bring in lots of smart people to help you all out. So no VMware. Silas again, I just want to thank you for access to our tester, Security Plus. Sure, you're welcome. You're scoring 77 to 82. Don't know if I'll be ready. Well, just keep practicing. I mean, Silas, there's a certain point where you throw out the videos and you throw out the books and you just pound on practice questions. So you're doing practice questions and you start running into problems. Look, Silas, I'm assuming you've studied and you've got these topics down. You just may not remember a number of pins or, the 5 steps to, secure web app development or whatever those things might be. And in those cases, most of the time, the easiest place to get the answer isn't even with my stuff. Just Google it. Seriously. And this is you're running through practice questions and you run into topics that give you trouble. And this is how I study. When I do practice tests, I like to do individual practice questions, especially at the earlier part of the process. I'll run, say, if you're going to use my product, I'll set you up, say, how many questions do you want, how long, da-da-da-da-da, all that kind of stuff. I'll just run that, but I'll keep that running, the practice questions, and then if I get one that's totally got me gerfuggled, I'm just going to stop and then go over and research it and get the answers for these things. So it's not that hard. Sophian B at 2:29 p.m. What do you recommend, Netplus or CCNA? I think everybody needs Netplus, and people who are going into Cisco need CCNA. I don't feel, I don't want to be a liar here. Genuinely, unless you're really working on Cisco devices, I wouldn't recommend any Cisco training. You got to really be working on them. But I will also tell you this. I would be nervous to work with a network professional who doesn't have at least a base understanding of Cisco's iOS. And so for that point, if you're going to see yourself working in the future with Cisco people, then I would say you probably ought to get a CCNA as a minimum. If you're going to actually be working on Cisco stuff, everybody should be trying to get a CCIE. Not everybody will, but everybody should try. And but otherwise, Network Plus is, in my opinion, the most important certification you'll never need. When I say that, I'm telling you is that the Network Plus provides the most eureka moments for learners of any topic I've ever taught. I can say words like DNS or IPv4 versus IPv6, but when you get through my Network Plus training, you really know what that stuff is. I mean, you're really pretty good. And you're like, wait a minute, I could take one certification course, Mike, and leapfrog in knowledge a lot of people. Yeah, you can. The one thing you're going to learn in this industry is that the more you learn, the stupider everybody else is. No offense to my fellow IT people, but we are notorious for technobabbling. You're basically lying to people using technical terms to get them out of your face. We are, a huge percentage of IT people are Aspergery, which makes us single taskers, not very social, and things like that. And so if you can bring competency, maturity, good human interaction skills, along with technical skills, you're going to do great in this industry. But I would say do the Net Plus. Da-da-da. Oh, Scott is correcting E. White's lyrics. E. White, I knew what you were trying to say. Relax, don't do it. Alexa, yes, at 2:36 p.m. Is A+ the best certification for IT? It's the best place to get started if you want to get into the world of IT, but I don't say one or the other. Nigel, for Linux, do you recommend Linux Plus or LPIC? Linux Plus, but barely. Scott Jernigan, did they not have a deal where if you got the Linux Plus, you got your LPIC as well? Did that? I think it changed. I don't want to say anything and be a big liar, but or if you take the LPIC, you get the Linux Plus as well. I don't remember. I have forgotten. Linux Plus is a good cert. Jimmy Milligan at 2:36 p.m. How are we doing? I'm not that far behind. Are the Comptia exam questions similar to your book, end of chapter ones? Or I do have some practice ones, but only attempted one as I don't want to become too familiar with answers just yet. All right, first of all, I know what I said earlier, Jimmy, about people memorizing questions. You're going to have to do practice questions whether you want to or not. The end of chapter questions are good, but so I now know what book you have because that's the academic book. And look, I'm not trying to get more money out of you, but I guess I'm getting more money out of you. You need to get the practice questions as well. You got to get the practice questions as well. Dennis, what is a 1/3? Yeah, Dennis, I fail about 1/3 of my exams. Well, the biggest problem is I don't bother studying most of the time like I should. Ulysses Frere, Mike, what's the difference between VMware and Docker? Okay, VMware is a what we call a hypervisor. VMware is a piece of software that will allow virtual machines to come into existence. A virtual machine it takes advantage of some of the resources of your computer and electronically separates it into its own computer. You still have to install an actual operating system in this virtual machine. It's not an emulator, it actually uses your hardware, but it takes your computer and basically reduces it to a file. And VMware virtualization is a very, very good thing. If it wasn't for virtualization, the cloud wouldn't exist. Virtualization is absolutely amazing. So tools like Virtual PC and VMware, Hyper-V, there's 1,000 more. I'm just going blank momentarily. Dave says LPIC is now dead. We'll have to look in and confirm that. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, VMware. So VMware virtualizes the hardware, but you have to install real software in it. So when you spin up a virtual machine using VMware or something like that, you then have to boot the virtual machine up and install a real copy of Linux or Windows or whatever you want in there to make it run, okay? Docker is arguably the most popular container program that exists right now. So Docker is used more by developers. So whereas things like VMware are virtual machine hypervisors, Docker makes virtual operating system things that we call containers. And by the way, Docker is a critical development tool and does a lot more than what I'm saying, but this is the big part of what Docker does. So what Docker does is it virtualizes the operating system. And it allows your application to run with whatever the DLLs you want or whatever your subsidiary stuff is. And it's run in such a way that it doesn't jack with the main system. It doesn't install a bunch of DLLs or things like that you may not want on the system overall, or you're just testing something or something like that. And so that's what Docker does. Docker is a container utility, and containers are virtualized operating systems. Wireshark, VMware and VirtualBox and Hyper-V and guys like that, those are virtualization hypervisors, and they create virtual machines that you then install your operating system into. Docker, you create a container which then you install your application into. Does that work? Kevin Lopez, what do we need to know about containers for Security Plus 501? Hold on, information coming in. Kevin, everything I just said about containers is most of what you need to know there. There's some container security questions, and how do you secure a container? That's about it. There's very few questions. Crescent Fresh, haha. Chuck DHD, hey Dan. Did I trigger anybody's Alexa? Thank you, Dave, for reminding me. Please like and subscribe. Folks, it is a big deal. I don't at all, this is not a moneymaker for me at all. I do this to keep Scott Jernigan busy. I'm kidding. Scott, that was a joke. That was humor. But no, we don't make any money from it, but it does help if you like and subscribe this channel, even though we're not really making any money from it, primarily because it helps with searches and things like that as day rush. Dave, thank you for reminding me about that. How are we doing on time? We're about to start our first competition. Might want to get a pen and paper ready. I got to spin up some questions for you guys. So I'm thinking we should do, not a lot of people do an A. I will do some A+ questions today, as long as those of you who are studying for A+, promise you're not going to freak out. People always do that, and there's no reason to. Because you can't really look at the questions the way I can, and so I pick questions that sometimes can be a little bit more challenging. Looking for good questions. I want good questions. That is not a good question. Can't get out of this. All right, you guys ready? We're going to do some practice questions. Let me take a little peek. Make sure there's no burning questions here. Scott Jernigan. All right, so we did get a little information. Number one, the LPIC is not dead. I didn't think it was, Dave. But the deal for auto-crediting LPIC with getting Linux Plus is no longer valid. So they are back to competing, which is too bad. I felt they had a lot in common. I'd still probably go for the Linux Plus first. Scott Jernigan did also want me to remind you guys that there's a lot more container stuff on the 601 Security Plus than there is on the 501. So same topics though, just more detail. And one of the bigger areas that the 601 does that the 501 doesn't is it really talks about secure application development a lot more than the 501 did. But you're going to take the 501, right? Yeah, good man. Oh. Sorry, guys, I got to quit this test. How did I get back? Woof. Really? Digging up questions, guys. Bear with me. You guys would think that there's like one set of A+ practice questions. There's hundreds of them, depending on what's happening. No. Let's see if I got this one. Just spitting up some questions here. Okay, you guys, here's how we do practice questions. Here's how we do competitions. Rule number one, these competitions are not fair. If you're looking for a fair competition, then stop now. It's okay. So if, the reason the test is unfair is because the way I score it. I score this test by telling people that whoever writes down the first answer that's correct wins. Now, you may think you're the first, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how it shows up in my live chat. So just because you think you're number one, until I call it, that ain't how it is. Also, do not write down, these are multiple choice questions, do not write down A or B or C or D. Write out the answer. You'll be able to see it. So just write out the answer. We're not going to spell test you or anything like that. But that's basically how this works. So let me get the thing up. Is everybody ready? Here we go. First question. Oh, and Lino, I saw some questions. I'll get to them. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. I got to get this to line up pretty. It doesn't line up pretty. Let's make it prettier. Here we go, guys. Virtual machines provide the ability to do which of the following? Extend 32-bit machines to 64. B, share hardware resources. C, use less system memory. D, allow higher internet speeds. All right, I need you guys to write down the right answer. Don't write down the letter of the alphabet. You've got to write down the actual stuff. Oh, this was too easy, man. All right, we got a number of people got it in here. All right, so according to the way things look on mine, the right answer is share hardware resources. Let's take a look at this question because people are going to extend 32-bit to 64. It's not an emulator, folks. Virtual machines cannot emulate. They can only virtualize what you already have. So they can't turn your 32-bit into 64. Equally vice versa, they can't turn 64 into 32. Share hardware resources, correct answer. C, use less system memory. Each virtual machine uses the same amount of memory as if it were a real machine. This is the big weakness to virtual machines, is that the servers that run them often need a ton of extra memory in it. It's not uncommon to see machines with 64 gig, 128 gigs of memory that are running virtual machines. And allow higher internet speeds? Nope, it's only as good as what you plug into. All right, so the winner is, who did I say the winner was? Who did I say? I lost it. Jimmy Milligan. The winner is Jimmy Milligan. Jimmy Milligan, congratulations to you. You have won your choice of either A+, Netplus, or Security Plus practice questions. In order to retrieve your prize, Jimmy, all you got to do is send an email to kathyy, that's Kathy with a K, Kathyy, at totalsem.com. Don't panic, Jimmy. Scott Jerning is going to type all this out for you. Send her an email, say, I'm one of the winners on March 1st, and I would like to have either the A+ or the Netplus, and you tell her which one you want. Also, make sure to add your screen name, whatever name you're using here in YouTube. Make sure that she knows that one as well. Just send her an email. Literally, we use your email address as your user account name. So, congratulations to you, Jimmy. Teresa Russell just typed in share hardware. Okay, now guys, you understand how this works. We're going to do it again, okay? All right. Outstanding. All right, I think we had a question pop up. Lino Delcor, or Delacor? Delcor? Sorry, Lino, I hate, okay. In Event Viewer, you were exploring, always good to play with toys. Opening trees, collapsing trees, discovered that firewall rules are constantly modifying. Why? They're not. Lino, firewall rules rarely modify unless you're doing it or you authorize it to happen. So Lino, this is a great example. Lino, let me warn you, let me teach you a little etiquette on something, okay? Lino, I don't know you from Adam. I know you're a wonderful person, whatever. It's very dangerous to ask a fellow technician to say blah, 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 blah. Why? Phrasing a question like that will, for most technicians, they'll be in a defensive mode, and they'll usually respond by something like, because you're an idiot. You're not an idiot, okay? What we need to do, though, Lino, is let's talk about this question in much more detail. Lino, you must join the Discord channel. Lino, get yourself a microphone and a little headset. You got the internet. You're talking to me here. Get on, join Scott Jernigan. Can you throw up that Discord channel one more time? Lino, you need to get on there. We get on the Discord. I'm on usually after this talk on Mondays and Wednesdays. However, this Discord channel is definitely gaining a life of its own. This is a kind of place you can, if there's no one else on when you're on, throw a question out there. It'll get answered in a couple of hours, tops. So don't be afraid. Lino, I still want you to come join us today. We'll be on at about, it's 3:06 now, probably about 4 o'clock Central Time, so it'll be about a little less than an hour from now. And this is really a great place to ask these types of questions, Lino, because then we can even possibly pull up your event viewer. We can look at it together and understand. Because right now, I'm going to tell you, Lino, you're wrong. That doesn't happen. So let's go ahead and work together, and together we'll find out a better answer than what I just said. Okay, guys, we're not done competing. I just want to catch a couple of questions And we're about to have another competition. Dave Rush, if you want access to your cups printer, Dave, is that cups is still really a thing in Ubuntu? Okay, I'm going to jump around a little bit. Andrew Parrish at 246 asked, "Hey Mike, which free virtualization software would you recommend? I find it overwhelming to decide on one, which is why I haven't installed one yet." Oracle's VirtualBox. That's the one you want. Here. I'm not saying the other ones are bad. I'm just saying if you want to learn about virtualization, I find that Oracle's VirtualBox is superb. Let me bring this up so you guys can see it. Here's the VirtualBox that's running here on my local machine right here. So this is Oracle VM VirtualBox. This is the manager for different virtual machines I have installed on this one right here. Any virtualization tool is good. VMware is very expensive is my biggest complaint about that. And Hyper-V does strange things to your system that I don't trust. So that's where I would go. Is there really that big of a selection of Type 2 hypervisors out there? I'm looking for another question. So this is A+y. Okay. Let's do an easier question. You guys ready? This is going to be an easier question. Remember, do not write out the letter of the alphabet. I need you to write down the actual answer itself. Okay? Nope. All right. You guys ready? Here's our next one. I can make this a little bit better. Hang on. There we go. Jim's parents want to use wireless keyboard for their home theater PC running Windows Media Center. Oops. Let's flag that. Hey, Scott Jernigan, question 26329 needs to be checked. It's a valid question though, guys. We're going to keep it for this competition. Windows Media Center is a little dated. However, the question is still 100% good. Here we go. They want to use a wireless keyboard. Should they use 802.11? Should they use Ethernet? Should they use serial? Or should they use Bluetooth? This should be an easy answer, guys. Come on. I'm hoping to see a whole bunch of answers waiting for me. Lost my chat window. No, I've really lost my chat window. What the heck? The chat window closed on me. All right. Ulysses Ferrara, is there a way to free trial of Windows Server 2019? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Hang on just a minute. All right, Ulysses Ferrer. Ulysses, one of these times you just send me a text. Tell me how to pronounce your last name properly. Ferrer. All right. Anyway, so the winner I have is Ulysses Ferrer. Now, Ulysses, I know you've won here before. So if you don't win, then it's going to be Nitin Baines. Nitin, I know you've won here before. And then number 3 is going to be Alec Carter. So, Ulysses, do you want this prize? You must quickly and right now say, I want to keep it or pass it. Where'd you go? Ulysses is the winner. Ulysses, do you want it or not? Throw it in the pot. That's what I figured you're going to say. All right, who is the next person to win? Nitin Baines. Nitin, do you want to keep this or not? You were in second place. Nitin, you got to type something quickly. Do you want to keep it or not? Ulysses has turned it down. Nitin, I need you to type something. Say, I'm taking it or pass it forward. Nitin, here's where you press buttons on the chat and say, yes, I want it, or no, I do not want it. there's a little bit of a stall between when I talk and when you guys actually see. Okay, Nitin wants to keep it. All right, very good. Nitin, congratulations to you. You have won your choice of either A+, Netplus, or Security Plus practice questions. In order to get your questions, Nitin, what you have to do is send an email to kathyy, and that's Kathy with a K, KATHYY, at totalsem.com. Don't panic. Scott Jernigan's going to put this in the chat window for you. Send her an email. Give her your screen name here on YouTube. Tell her that you were a winner today on March 1st. And number 3, tell her which one you want, whether you want A+, or Netplus, or Security Plus. Let her know, and she will get it set up for you. Our Total Tester is a completely online product, folks. It's not an offline product. Like, if your internet doesn't work, you're not going to be able to get to our practice questions. But anyway, well done. Congratulations. We're going to do it one more time. All right, so Ulysses, did someone answer your question? All you have to do, Ulysses, do a Google search for download Windows Server. And Microsoft has like a 180-day copy of Windows Server. It's fully functional. It does everything. We did some videos on it. We actually installed it and ran it in a virtual machine, which I think is the place it needs to be. It's a great way to do all this stuff. Setting up a Windows Server and then setting up a Windows Professional, and just make them, those two machines, their own little network. They don't have to be a part of your network or anything. Especially if you have a lot of Windows machines, the last thing you want to do is throw a full-blown domain controller on a local area network, because, it won't break anything, but a lot of systems are going to go, hey, what's going on here? And so that's why it's really nice. So this can often be a fun thing to do. You're learning about virtual machines. You download a copy of VirtualBox. Most people's virtual machine, those who live in a Windows environment, is going to be a copy of Ubuntu. So you set up an Ubuntu, then you set yourself up a Windows server. Next thing you know, you got your own little network. That's not even part of your regular network. And it's a great way to practice for a little bit for A+, a little bit for Network Plus, a little bit for Security Plus, but then even past that, if you start going into Microsoft certifications and stuff like that, it could be extremely handy. And after 180 days, just use a different email. Microsoft is very glad to give away free copies of Windows Server that turn off after 180 days. They want you to get addicted. Oh, Sabotage. He's Sabotage at 309. He's like, everyone is answering and you're still talking to Leno. Yeah, well, the problem is, Sabotage, I got different things going on, so I'm trying to secretly always wanted to join the circus. We got one more competition coming. Oh, I see a name I didn't see before. Sophiane B. I'm just seeing people answered. Yeah, Teacher Russell, 310. Windows Media Center gone by 10. So one of the nice things about my practice questions, and if you guys ever buy them or if you get them for free, if you look in the lower right-hand corner, let me show this to you. If you look in the lower right-hand corner, we have identifying numbers for all of our practice questions. Trust me, we don't have 26,000 A+ questions. That's how many we've probably written over the last 20 years. But if you ever have a problem with any of my questions, you don't like it, if you can just put this reference in here, that can often be very handy to help me get answers for you. All right. Got a question, 3:11 p.m. Chuck DHD, what's the difference between remote desktop and remote assistance? Not much. They're both running on port 3389. They're both remote desktop protocol. The big difference is the only real difference, God, I don't want to get this, it's remote desktop does not allow the hosting system to control the mouse. So when you do a remote desktop and you're on the system, and let's say you sit down at that system, there's somebody else doing a remote desktop, you can't see what they're doing. It's not like their mouse is moving around and stuff. They're actually running in a separate terminal. It's not terminal, forget what, session, whatever. But remote assistance basically means that when you log in, the person who's sitting there can actually watch what you're doing, and you can watch them move around and stuff. And that, I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to do remote assistance, it would be nice to sit here and go, okay, see where my mouse is? Now I'm typing in, whatever, versus a true remote desktop. You don't really care. It's probably a system that doesn't even have a monitor and a keyboard associated with it. So you use remote desktop. Windows Server systems that are in racks are rarely configured directly. With a Windows Server system, you're usually going to go ahead and install the operating system, the Windows Server operating system, but after that, you quickly give it a static IP address, and everything's done through remote desktop. You don't walk up to those machines. I don't think we have keyboards and mice on any of our servers on our racks. I think we've got a spare set that we can plug in, and that term is called headless server. No keyboard, no mouse, no monitor. It's a headless system. 311, unbearable suffering. Remember, we got one more competition. Does anyone have a powerful gaming rig that keeps heat low and noise ultra quiet? Sure. Gosh, unbearable suffering. My answer to that would be all of the systems that I build are that way. So unbearable suffering. Here, this is another great example. Unbearable suffering. I would love to talk more about this. This is not a quick answer question. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting too much information here. Bear with it. So unbearable suffering. I would love for you to get on this Discord channel. Get on the channel, because at our level, we're not going to talk about buying some Dell system or something like that. We're going to be talking about what are the CPUs that are hot, pardon the pun, or not so hot. What name brands of motherboards are people looking for? And if you're going with Intel, are we going with i7 versus i9? How much RAM do you need in your systems? What type of fans? Are we doing liquid cooling versus air cooling? Fan diameters. See what I'm saying? Unbearable. So your question starts a 2-hour conversation, a fascinating one, a good one, a fun one. So this is where that Discord channel that my Jose does is great. Please join the Discord channel for questions like that, because it's a great question, but it's going to take a while. All right. Looking for questions. Nigel, why would you worry about server when it's all retiring? We are moving to the cloud. Oh, Nigel, my friend. Nigel, we have more copies of Windows Server running today than we ever have. Just because it's on the cloud, it is still a full-blown copy of Windows Server. It has to be installed. It has to be maintained. Users have to be created. You have to add domain names to your forest, and it's all still there. So yes. Got it. And Nigel, here's the other thing. When it is all retiring, what is it? What do you mean when you say it is all retiring? What I will say is that direct physical systems that you have to deal with yourself are retiring and are being replaced by virtualized systems in cloud providers like Amazon and folks like that. But those machines still need to be administered. Yeah, you can buy some groovy little backup solution, but when, Jane in accounting starts her day, somebody has to create an account for her. That's not going to happen automatically. You got to do it. So I would counter your statement and say that Windows Server and Linux servers and all kinds of stuff are more common and more dominant than they've ever been before. But instead of installing it yourself, usually just SSH or remote into them and do whatever you're going to do. But they're still there. Not a D responded to Nigel already. 322, that was at 315. V, hey V, you're still here. Cool. Just got your Security Plus bundle, excited for study sessions. V, you need to be coming here on Mondays and Wednesdays. You're going to meet a lot of great folks in here who will help you study. Yes, it's nice to talk to me on Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock somewhere in central United States. But do keep in mind that we have a lot of really great folks on here. We have developed quite the core of very skilled, knowledgeable people. They're a little strange, but I really almost feel like I have a 15, 20 excellent assistants. And, coming onto that Discord channel, certainly V, come here. Come here for starters. You should never feel like you're an island when you're studying for any certification. But then outside of that, you really need to check out that Discord channel. It's really doing a good job. Most of the people you see posting on here, V, will also be on that Discord channel. Hi, Desert Gamer at 318. Let me guess, you live in Utah. Hi, Mike. Hi, Desert Gamer. Loving your materials. Thank you. Studying for the A+. Good for you. Been working on computers since I was 6 years old. Now you're talking. When I was 6 years old, well, they had computers, but they were getting a lunar module onto the moon. Syed Hussein, hello, Mike. Can a VPN be hacked? Absolutely, a VPN can be hacked. It's not the easiest thing. It's not the most common thing. But yeah, VPNs can be hacked. And then again, what do you mean by hacked? I hate that word hacked. And Syed, this is the place to ask questions like that. You're doing fine. But to me, I don't know, I don't want to say hacked anymore. We should be, as we study and learn, we should be concentrated on using terms like, I've had a man-in-the-middle attack. My VPN, you see where I'm coming from? We'd want to talk in more detail than just saying the word hacked. Because anything can be hacked. I can hack a mousetrap. But especially if you're studying for Security Plus in particular, you should be able to start talking about different types of attacks and how they come into play. Unbearable suffering. Water cooling is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to disagree with Scott Jernigan. I don't think it's that expensive. The problem is I think on most system builds, especially for gamer systems, if you can get big enough regular fans, which isn't that hard anymore, what makes fans noisy is how fast they spin. So larger fans don't need to spin nearly as quickly to move the same amount of air as a smaller fan. So in particular, we're going to be talking about your CPU, which is going to need a bigger fan. I don't think it's uncommon to find. I don't have any of my toys over here. 120 millimeter on the low side. It's on the smaller side. You can get them bigger than that. Liquid cooling looks cool. I'm sorry. Back when I was a kid, before electronic ignition took over everything, they had these things in automobiles called a distributor cap, where you had all of your different spark plug wires. They don't exist anymore unless you have an older car. But we would always do cool things with our distributor cap, like use clear plastic, and you could watch the rotor in there spin. Since we don't have those venues anymore, building pretty systems with fans that have lots of colors are just the way we get to show off these days. Sam McFarland, hey Sam, good to see you. 319, Ulysses Frere, did anyone get a 3060 they might borrow? I'm trying. You can't get this stuff. You just can't get it. I keep trying. I almost had a 3080. It's so close. I just need to type a little faster. I literally had 2 notifications hit me a few days ago. Number one, there was an available stack of 3080s on bestbuy.com. That excited me. And literally at the same moment, I got a letter from my doctor saying, we have vaccines, COVID vaccines. So I'm like, do I try to grab this card or do I try to grab the vaccine? And I went over and I signed in and I got the vaccine. So by the time I went over to Best Buy, they were sold out. It's hard to get I have never seen in my 30 plus years of dealing with video cards an announced product that was this rare. I'd have to go way back. Maybe like the old voodoo cards or something. To be where someone announces something that's so unobtainable. And good for them, I guess. Mark Wheeler, 322. I have my second interview for a technical support rep position on Wednesday. Any last minute or tips, Mike? Mark, eye contact. Have questions about that company ready to go. If you're going to go in for a tech interview, you should at least understand what they're doing for a living. Ask them questions. You know, it's like, what percentage of your servers are Linux versus Windows? You know, how long has the company been making mousetraps? The biggest thing that drives me crazy in interviews is when I have a person who doesn't have any questions for me. Take some time, figure out what this company is. Get interested, figure out who's the CEO's name or the Chief Information Security Officer. Know something about the company. And the other big thing I'm going to tell you, because he said it's a technical interview, Mark Wheeler, you ready? The 3 sexiest words one technician can say to another, I don't know. When I do a technical interview, I will keep pounding until I get you to either try to technobabble me or say, I don't know. I'm not even really interested in what your answer is, to be honest. I want to see what you're going to do if I put your back to the wall. And I expect technicians to say, I don't know, when they don't know. If you technobabble me, well, I just wouldn't, I'll never give you a job. It would never happen. It's dishonest, in my opinion. But that would be the biggest thing I'd say. And relax. Sam McFarland, 323. Why does Google Chrome change the search engine automatically? Sam, I got to tell you, buddy, I have not used... Oh, I see what you're saying. So, Sam, you installed like Google Chrome and it switched the default search engine. They all do that. Almost all of them do. Try to install Firefox on a Windows machine. You literally get Microsoft going, are you sure you don't want to use Edge, the new super browser for the news? Right? Hey. They all do that. And by the way, your search engine tool should be Start Page. That ought to get you all talking about that one. C. Seaton 75, 322. So true, many people get confused. They do. They really do. That's the other reason I like the Network Plus exam. Again, it just, Network Plus does such a good job about clarifying the idea between containers versus VMs and all that stuff. I love it. V, I live in Alaska. Oh, goodness. Oh, V, come on, man. You live in Alaska, which means you're what, 3 hours behind us here in Texas? I guess what part of Alaska you live in, right? V, we get folks all the time from like Pakistan. We got a bunch of folks from Europe here, so it's much later for them. V, it's always good to have you here. Look, I'm here for you. If the hours work out for you, then that'll be great. Love to have you. That's what I'm here for. That and these natural good looks. Andre de Goya, we're not strange. Yeah, you're a little strange, dude. C. Seaton remembered what voodoo cards were. There you go, V, at 328. I used to be a Best Buy employee. I was security, but I did my best to stay informed. That's exactly, there you go. I see words like compromised. No, for me, it's more, it's not so much compromised, and I'm not against the word compromised. And I guess compromised is a better term than hacked. Dwight Russell, I'll agree with you on that. But yeah, I mean, especially if you get through Security Plus, you should be able to talk about attack vectors and things like that with comfort. The term hack becomes, I don't know, more of an entry-level term. That's what we're here for. We do learning. Mr. G, 326. Good God, it's already, we only have 30 minutes left. I got one more competition coming in, guys. Mike, Mr. G, 326. Mike, what's the best approach in the following? According to best practice of malware removal. Oh, good Lord. What is the first step we should perform? Oh, geez. Mike G, if you're having me try to answer straight up, okay, you only have 2 answers there, fine. You've got to identify what the problem is. By identifying it, you know it is malware, right? But then number 2, quarantine the infection. So I understand what you're trying to say with this one, Mr. G, is that you're like, look, if it's malware, we want to quarantine first. So why don't we just quarantine the system first and then diagnose it? We can, I hate to, you guys aren't going to like this answer. The right answer is identify and research the malware first. Trust me when I tell you that's the right answer. Do I remember the Voodoo Banshee? I do, C. Seaton. I remember, in fact, I still have a number of Voodoo cards. So here at Total Seminars, we've been around since the 90s. And every 3 years, every 4 years, we'd have to upgrade all of our systems because we were an on-the-road teaching company, and I wanted to have cutting-edge materials. So every 3 or 4 years, I would take a system that's about to be retired, and I'd buckle it all up, right? So whatever the cutting-edge hardware, video, RAM, motherboard, whatever it was for that time period, we'd build these systems up and throw them into a garage. I got tons of these systems. It's a fascinating little walk through the time. Like the first video cards I have are old Visa VL bus. Anybody remember Visa local bus? Don't worry about it, folks. It's the technology of your forefathers, but we keep all those. There you go, Nigel. Thank you. And Nigel, I know I sound like a jerk sometimes when it comes to pronouns, but I don't know what people are talking about a lot of times. And so, and Nigel, please trust me when I tell you I'm equally mean and abusive to everybody on this particular topic because I don't necessarily know what a pronoun means. So that's just my thing. Trust me, I do it with everybody, and I will drive poor Scott Jernigan nuts when I'm like, it. What do you mean, it, Mr. Pronoun? And most importantly, Nigel, I'm glad to see that with Nada D's help, you got your question answered, and that's the important thing. Start, Ulysses, start as in the beginning. S-T-A-R-T page, start page. It's probably the best of the privacy search engines. I think it's better than DuckDuckGo. What Start Page does that I really like is that Start Page is a Google search. It's Google, but they strip out all the personalized information before they submit it to Google, which is actually fascinating because one of the things you're going to discover when you start playing with these privacy search engines is that Big Brother Google really does know a lot about you, like a terrifying amount about you, and I'll find myself going from like YouTube to, sometimes I'll do a Google search. Like Google Maps, you can't beat Google Maps. I'm sorry, you just can't. Street View and all that stuff. Bing Maps aren't too bad. But, so I'll do a search in Start Page for something, and it comes back with not that great of answers. But then I'll go to google.com and do the exact same search. And a lot of times I come up with much better answers. And you can see that the answers are based on stuff I've asked before. So, yeah, if you ever want to terrify yourself, do some Google searches and search for something crazy like, I don't know, eggplant. Scott, what do folks in Europe call eggplants? Aubergines. Do some searches like that with a word that you don't use very often in Google. Just do it for fun. Maybe do it once a day. Don't have to do it very often. If you keep that in there and actually do searches, search for aubergine, you're going to start seeing aubergines poking up everywhere. Those of you who use Google Home, you're going to find it popping up in those ads, so it's very irritating. Yes, folks, Google Home now has ads. It's extremely frustrating. I've unplugged all my Google Home devices. Yeah, V, you tried assigning DuckDuckGo. Nothing wrong with DuckDuckGo. I don't have a problem with it. Still trying to make it so Microsoft, not Microsoft Edge's homepage. Don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to look into that. One moment, guys. Oh, okay. Mark Wheeler, I use Firefox on my browser. I do too. Andreas, it's 22:30 there. Andres, where are you at, man? Are you like in 22:30? It would be 10 hours. You could be like in India or something, is my quick guess. Pakistan, maybe? C Seaton 75. Dude, you are old. Don't, yeah, and I still have a Commodore 64 and a Commodore VIC-20 in a box. All right, 3:38. I really am going to get, guys, before 4, we got 20 more minutes. I'm going to get that last competition in, I promise. David Rush, did my wedding planning on a Commodore PET system. Okay, Dave, you win. Crazy Homebody Girl, 3:38 p.m. Good afternoon. Can you explain the difference between online CA, certificate authority, and offline CA? Is it related to PKI? I had a review question that I bungled up. Yeah. In a PKI scenario, you're going to have a top certificate, a big kahuna certificate that will be what everybody else signs their way down on. And that certificate is very precious. It is the certificate from which all other certificates for that certifying body happen, okay? So what we usually do, not we, but the people we buy certificates from, instead of keeping their certificate authority, which is a real certificate with a real public and private IP address, what they'll do instead is they take that certificate and they take it offline. It is not available electronically. They're doing that to save it. So what will happen instead is the certifying organization, whoever it is, Thwate, VeriSign, whatever, they will set up intermediate CAs. And these intermediate CAs will either store the actual root CA, an online root CA, or they'll get a delegate. Sorry, I lied. They will store, I'll get this out in a minute. Let's try one more time. These intermediate CAs will have intermediate certificates that were generated from the offline certificate, but they're as high as you go. And they will act as a start of authority for any certifying PKI needs. Get the idea? That way you're preserving your precious certificate and not letting it get accidentally hacked or something. Because if it gets hacked, literally your entire PKI is a mess. And that happened to a couple of very, very famous PKI people over the years. Big brother, I keep a telescreen in my pocket. Kevin Lopez, I am not going to type in anything like that. Forget it. Patricia Grace, where have you been, young lady? We've been waiting for you. Nigel, so what is SCCM? I'm going blank. Scott, what's SCCM? Society of Creative Care Medicine, Microsoft System Center Configuration Manager. Nigel, I'm not sure what you're talking about, buddy. I don't know what SCCM is. I apologize. Andres, you're in mid-Europe someplace. Okay. Andre de Goya, it's 2240 in Europe at this moment. No, Andre. The EU has more than one time zone. Andres, are you hungry or do you live in Hungary? I know what you're teasing. Oh, IT, 6:40 a.m. God bless you guys for getting here so early. I appreciate it. All right, I'm looking for questions here. All right, guys, things are slowing down here. I'm going to do one more. Competition. Don't forget that. Nigel, OMG, Mike. What did I do, Nigel? I always hate it when people type in things like OMG. Did I say something naughty? Okay, your Overwatch just gave me a question. 3:44 p.m. Hi, Mike. Have you ever used a network-attached storage device at home, and how reliable do you think it is? I've used many different types of NASs at home. I think that if you're going to be doing any kind of bulk storage, that's the way to go. You know, before streaming became so popular, when you really think about it, streaming services like Netflix really haven't become overwhelmingly popular until, I'd say, within the last 5 or 6 years. Oh, I can't, I'm plugged in. I have thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays. I even have hundreds of HD DVDs. And back in the day, I would put those into NASs, and they worked fine. Most of the NASs I've used were home-built boxes. Usually I would build my own RAID array. I've used so many different operating systems and stuff, I can't even really name one. The important thing is, though, is that if you've got important stuff to store at home, an NAS is the way to go. Because the alternative is everybody's going to be storing junk locally, and that can be a real problem. You just lose one system and you've lost something pretty cool. Mike probably still has Laserdisc. No, Scott. No Laserdiscs. Never did Laserdisc. It is Microsoft Center Configuration Manager. So I don't remember SCCM's gone now. It's I can't remember the name, what it's called. I think Scott says it's Endpoint Manager. That sounds right. And yeah, it's a great tool. Nigel, you don't know what SCCM is. No, I didn't, Nigel. Nigel, I'm going to shock you, dude. I spend every day learning new things. Oh, that's why Nigel was surprised, because I didn't know what SCCM was. Sorry, bud. Yeah, Nigel, I'm terrible at acronyms too. Uh, 3:46 p.m. Overwatch. Have you used one machine with a Xeon processor or something to host multiple virtual OS, so like 4 people can use one machine at a time instead of buying 4? Yes, Overwatch. That is why virtualization exists. The concept of virtualization is that most machines don't work very hard for a living. And Vmware, who's arguably the first people to do virtualization, I know a lot of people say IBM did virtualization back in the 80s, which technically they did, but nobody cared. I mean, that's why we do it. And I have used, and Overwatch, the other thing I want to stress to you is you're talking about like a machine with a Xeon processor. What I would say is a machine with any processor with a lot of RAM. A lot of RAM. That's the big one, man. Overwatch, you can use a little old i3 on most virtual machines because they don't make a computer work that hard. What virtual machines do is they make your RAM work really hard because it's very hard to fake RAM efficiently. So that's the one place where virtual machines really need a lot of real resources is with the RAM. So yeah, you absolutely have. And not at all uncommon. Okay, guys, sorry, I didn't see Seaton 75. We use SCCM for deploying our Windows 10 and software along. Yeah, okay. It's Endpoint Manager. I know. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. Sorry, guys. Oh, Nigel, the master Mike Meyers doesn't know what it is. That's easy to do to me. All right, guys. Looks like the questions are slowing down. I'm going to go ahead. Let's do one more competition, all right, for attractive prizes. And we're going to keep going until 4 o'clock or until the questions end. So while we're doing this last competition, this might be a good chance for you to get a question ready for me. And again, I will be on the Discord channel today after this meeting. So if you have more questions, you can get me there as well. What an interesting question. This is not, we're going to try an interesting question. This is going to be one where there's going to be lots of answers to, and this will be fun for discussion. Here you guys go. You ready? A user's laptop has died, but the hard drive is still functioning. Which of the following is the best way for the user to still access and edit all the data? So the laptop has died, folks. Let's keep that one in mind. All right, guys, we need to see some answers. The my Lord, Master Mike Meyers, the king of alliteration. Okay, I've only got one answer written in so far. Now, if you just type in the word USB hard drive, well, I guess I could know what you're trying to talk about. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Yeah, V, you can't type in the letter. You got to type out the answer. All right, so I don't know what the right answer to this one is. I'm going to speculate. But let's have a little fun. This is a great example. We can do a little research. We're not only actually talking about the right answer. Remember, the number 2 reason people fail Comptia exams is they know too much. And this looks to me like the perfect kind of question where we might be able to read too much in. I don't know what the right answer is. I've got a 50-50 odds, but let's see if I get it right. I may get it wrong. All right, burn their data to DVDs. Look, the laptop has died, okay? So you're probably going to have to yank the drive is what I'm thinking. And which of the following is the best way to access and edit all the data? So burn their data to DVDs, but the laptop's dead. Use a SCSI, that's bogus. I'm not even going to worry about that one. USB hard drive enclosure, I think that's what they're going for. You're going to physically remove the drive from the laptop, put it in a USB hard drive enclosure, and run. I think the answer is C. But the other one that a lot of people typed in was copy their data to a USB flash drive. My problem with the answer, copy their data to a USB flash drive, assumes that the laptop's running, and they say it's dead. So that's why I'm going to be pointing at USB hard drive enclosure. Let's see how right I am. USB hard drive. Oh, by the way, this is the Mike Meyers total tester right here. Let me see how it works here. All right, so the answer C is correct here. What do they say about answer explanation? Using a USB closure, yep, incorrect. You might be able to burn the data to DVD, but not until you get it off the drive. Okay, good. Probably doesn't have a SCSI drive. Okay, good. Can't copy that. Okay, got it. So the answer is C, USB hard drive enclosure. Let's see what I got for answers. Oh, this one's not even hard. The answer is, good Lord, Crazy Homebody Girl. Crazy Homebody Girl. Congratulations, you're the winner. You were the first person to type in USB hard drive enclosure. Congratulations, Crazy Homebody Girl. You get your choice of either A+, Netplus, or Security Plus. Free, it's really, you get a free, it's either 90 or 180-day access, I can never remember, to our practice questions. So, Crazy Homebody Girl, in order to get your prize, you have to send an email to kathyy, that's Kathy with a K, and 2 Y's, Kathy, Kathyy, at total7.com. Crazy Homebody Girl, don't panic writing this down. Scott Jernigan's going to put a link up there for you to make it real easy. So, Crazy Homebody Girl, you're going to send an email to kathyy at total7.com. You're going to tell her which one you want. You want A+, Netplus, Security Plus? Tell her, and then she'll give you access. And then number 3, give us your name here on YouTube, okay? So in your email to Kathy Y, put in, I'm Crazy Homebody Girl. We need those things, and then Kathy will just email you back your connection to the product. So congratulations to you. All right, how are we doing here? All right, so we've done 3. I'm not going to do any more competition today. I should never say it because I think I say the moment. No more competition today. Everybody's like, and logging off. All right, let's take a last little check for questions here. V, wouldn't you need another machine to connect to the dead laptop? See, now, V, that is a classic example of you got to be careful. V, you know too much. The number 1 reason people fail Comptia exams is test anxiety. The number 2 reason that people fail Comptia exams is you know too much. So you want to keep it simple and keep it easy. And so V, you're saying, wouldn't you need another machine to connect to the dead laptop? No. I would probably need another machine to connect to my USB enclosure. Okay, we got 5 more minutes. I'm hitting a few more questions here. 3:55 p.m. from my buddy Overwatch. Is there a minimum amount of cores that is needed to host multiple, let's say, 4 virtual OSs at once? No, there's none at all. I wouldn't even use that as a consideration. You're going to be hard pressed to find a CPU that does less than 4 cores anyway, and the cores aren't a perfect separation anyway. So like, there's no benefit to have, if you got a 4-core machine, to have 4 virtual machines, because it's really up to the virtualization software how it splits this stuff up, and it's never perfect like that. Can you guys hear Spewy? I haven't fed her in the last hour. She's starving to death. Patricia Grace, can you run through incremental versus differential backup? Patricia Grace, I can, but I'm not going to. Patricia, I'm going to do it on Wednesday. I've got a nice little demonstrator for that. Let me make myself some notes for Wednesday. All right. Patricia, I could do it now, but I can do it better with the right PowerPoints in front of me. And unfortunately, those are not on my person. But we will do it Wednesday. We'll do incremental versus differential and get that knocked out. Spencer Coleman at 356. In your opinion, is the IT Fundamentals certification valuable? I think it's valuable for younger people who don't quite know where they want to go. IT Fundamentals is a very inexpensive. It's only like $40. It's a very inexpensive certification. It definitely gets you into understanding, get you in the right path. I'll give you that. But I would find that most people with even a passing interest in IT would find the IT Fundamentals to be a very simple certification. Teacher Russell, I get test anxiety. Everybody gets you're a triple threat. Yeah, Teacher Russell, just be mellow. The number one reason people fail these exams is they freak out. Just be mellow. Patricia Grace, I need a backup system. I always forget the pros and cons of each. Patricia, I got to be honest with you. The entire concept of incremental and differential backups, which you do need to know for A+ and Netplus, but for so many people now, with large capacity drives and such, that the concept of incremental backups and things is starting to fade. Most backups today are straight copies. Just copy it. The incremental and differential are very powerful and in the right situation. Here you go. You want to do an incremental versus differential backup? There's a good reason to have an NAS, because it's fairly trivial in a Windows environment to set up a backup scenario to a NAS drive. As long as it's got a drive letter you can map to, you can back up anything to a network. This is the other thing. Like, people are like, "Oh, Mike, why bother with backup anymore? Because I can back everything up to the cloud." Have any of you guys actually tried to back up like one complete system that works for a living? I'm not talking about your little laptop with Office on it. I'm talking about a real system that's really working for a living. And this is with a pretty good link. But it takes literally days for initial backups. We've looked into cloud-based backup, and it's still not really the best way we want to go yet. We'll get there. Wait a minute, V. Batatas is Spanish for potatoes? I thought Spanish for potatoes was papas. Yo hablo español para gringos solamente. I live in Houston, Texas, man. We've got a lot of folks who speak Spanish here. Here, Scott Jernigan, you speak pretty good Spanish. So is it papas or batatas? I like to drink horchatas. All right, how we doing? Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Okay, guys, we're done. I gotta go. Listen, thank you. We had a really great session. I was worried about today being a little slow. Congratulations to our 3 winners. Make sure you send Kathy an email. Next Wednesday we're going to I'll do a full-blown backups. I will also do incremental and differential, but we're going to do a full thing on backups all the way and we'll do cloud and all that stuff. It'll be fun. And also, remember, we got our special deals this week. 50% off of all of our practice exams and total tester bundles. Just go to www.totalsum.com. Buy your stuff and type in MARS, M-A-R-S 2021 at checkout to get half off. Good stuff. David Zienta, we're really into this cloud thing. Let's talk about cloud. I'm good. You guys are in this little bit of a side conversation. I'm not sure what's happening. All right, anyway, give me about 10 minutes. I got 4:01 p.m., so I will be on the Discord channel in about 10 minutes. So for those of you who I won't see on the Discord channel, have a great week. Remember that I'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be doing backups as well as answering our regular questions. And also don't forget that Dave Rush, D-R-A-M-A, Drama, will be this Friday. Dave, you're going to tell us what we're talking about. And other than that, I am out of here, and I am going to see you guys on Wednesday. So this is your little Uncle Mike saying, talk to you later, kids, and good night. Good night. We're off.